Come on. Do I sound like I'm joking? Do I sound like I'm playing? When you look into my eyes, you understand what I'm saying? Let me say it to you slowly, and it may sound scandalous. I don't think that you can handle this.
All right, once again, we are on. I am the Mojo King. He is the great Donnie Oooh, and we are Hidden Gems Football, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group. How are you today, Donnie Oooh?
Doing pretty good. How are you, Mo?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little jealous because I saw that you were on Gimmick Infringement. Those guys keep ducking me. They won't let me on, but you've now made 2 appearances there. How did that go?
Oh no, it went great. Like I really enjoyed. I always enjoyed chopping it up with the guys. You know, this one was even a little bit more extra special because it came really out of the blue. Like me and Tyler, right? Like we're in a group chat, me, Tyler, and Brad, and we were talking about Survivor Series, and all of a sudden, like I sent the pick, just like, all right, yeah, you ready? He was like, "When it come on Sunday?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Why not? That'll work." You know, but no, like long story short, we had a great time. Please check out the video. You know, it was interesting on the technology end on my part. Like Mo said last week, cop the elders. I need a new laptop, but I need new Wi-Fi. But no, it was great. Of course, I had a snafu on that show too. So yeah, check out to see exactly what's the kind of snafu I had.
You know what? I watched it real quick. I don't remember the snafu. I do remember the technical difficulties. Very on brand with you. But now I'm gonna have to watch it again to see where you messed up.
Yeah, double the views, double the pleasure.
All right. Before we get into the rundown of events for this coming episode, I just want to say to all the listeners and watchers out here, we appreciate you. We survive, we thrive because of you, and thank you, each and every one of you. All right. Now, quickly rundown of events. We have it broken down to 3 sections. In section 2, we'll talk about the upcoming Thursday night game, which team we think will win against the point spread, and if we have any over-unders, we'll give you a couple of predictions there and our key points of the game. In section 3, we will turn our attention to Sunday's games. We will look for the surefire, can't miss, no doubt about it, sure thing picks for the week because we're talking Survivor. So we need our teams to win or we are going home. But before all that, we will talk to Donnie and he will tell us the one thing that caught his attention this past week. So Donnie, what is your one thing?
I'm going to keep it local this week, but not for the New York Jets. I bet everybody just thought because the king of New York, Mike White, came back to take his place at the top of the team, top of the heap. That I was going to talk about them, but no. I'm going to spread love because Donnie Oooh is the benevolent soul. I'm going to talk about the New York Football Giants. The G-Men, who now stand at the record of 7 wins and 4 losses. Now, normally that would be, something to celebrate, to dance in the streets for. 7-4, but 2 weeks ago they were 7-2. And looking at this upcoming schedule, there's been talking in the hidden gem football streets, that maybe the Giants might just not win another game. I started looking at the schedule and I came up with this little synopsis in my mind. And I got my trusty ass notes. The Giants are 7-4. To me, to get into the postseason, they need to get at least 10 wins. And I think I've said that early in the season that I saw that, especially being the fact it's a down year for the NFC, 10 wins should solidify your spot in the postseason. So they're at 7. They need 3 more. But this is how I see them actually attaining those 3 wins. They have 2 games remaining against the Washington Commanders. One this upcoming Sunday at home. I see them splitting against Washington. Now, they also have 2 games remaining with the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe the Giants need to split those two games. And then there's two games in the middle. You have Indianapolis and you have Minnesota. I believe they need to split one of those two games. So the problem is, well, I should say not the problem. The thing is, the Giants face Philadelphia at the end of the regular season. It's a pretty good chance that Philly will not have anything to play for. They'll have everything sewn up. So logically, you would think that should be a gimme win for Giants. But there's one team that's potentially in their way, even though they're behind them right now, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. A couple of weeks ago, I was kissing the tuchus of Geno Smith. You know, Mr. They wrote me off. I didn't write back. Well, since then, matter of fact, not since then, but since I kissed his tuchus, they're on a 2-game losing streak. They're 6-5. But they potentially hold the tiebreaker against the Giants because they beat the Giants in Seattle. So, looking at their remaining schedule, I could see them splitting their last 6, winning 3, going 3-3. That could get them to 9 games, 9 wins. There's one game that's crucial on their remaining schedule, and this is Seattle who I'm talking about.
Technical difficulties.
All
right, we're back. A couple of technical difficulties.
Of course.
Welcome back, Donnie.
It wouldn't be another episode of Hidden Gems Football if I didn't have a darn technical difficulty. I swear, we should just have this like in parentheses. Hidden Gems Football. The technical difficulties. Well, that's what we should have. Okay. What I was trying to get at was, of course, patting my Jets on the back. But what I was trying to get at was to just play Seattle in Week 16. I believe that's going to be a pivotal game in both the AFC playoff race and the NFC playoff race. But since I'm talking about the Giants, I will narrow it down to the NFC. I believe Seattle can win 3 games, not counting that Jets game. If the Jets beat Seattle, that will prevent Seattle from getting the necessary 10 wins that I believe is going to take for them to get in the postseason. That will prevent Seattle from tying the Giants, in which they hold the tiebreaker, and that will allow the New York Football Giants to get into the postseason for the first time in 6 years. And you know who they will have to thank for it? That's right, the New York Jets at Jets. But I say all that to say, even though I broke it down kind of like, helter-skelter, like, I believe the Giants still have a great chance to get into the playoffs. But like I said, out of those 6 games, they have to split against Washington, they have to split against Philly, and in reality, they need to beat Indianapolis. They're getting healthy at the right time. I believe their tight end that was out with the fractured orbital bone, he is trending toward playing this week, which is needed because they have hardly no weapons. But yeah, I still have faith in the Giants getting into the playoffs. Do you have anything to add, Mo?
Honestly, when I looked at Seattle's schedule, I think as long as they play decently, they're going to make the playoffs. Because I actually think that 9-7 is going to be good enough. 9-8 is going to be good enough, and that might mean that they don't even need that Jets win if they win the other games that they're supposed to against the Rams twice and Carolina. Interesting enough, I think Washington might be the team out of those 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants only win 2 more games, and it's enough if they could win a tiebreaker against Washington. But real quick, I want to ask you this quick question. Do you think any of these other teams have a chance to disrupt this playoff run? Now,
hell no.
Wait. Let me tell you the teams first. All right. You got Tampa and Atlanta. The problem for them is that they're in the same division. Both of them have 5 wins. Tampa's 5-6. Atlanta's 5-7. They also have to face each other. So at least one of those teams are going to lose. One of them's going to win the division. It would need the other one to get in there. And then the last one, who I think is interesting, is Detroit. They've won 3 of their last 4, and they should have beat Buffalo on Thanksgiving. They're 4-7, but if I'm right, I think 9-7, 9-8 can make it. They have a very weak schedule. The big game again will be against your Jets. Your Jets are everywhere. But do you think those teams have any shot to disrupt those top 3 teams?
All right, seriously, like you just said, Tampa and Atlanta are gonna knock each other out. So the only pathway for either one of those teams is to win the division. The wild card is not an option. Detroit is 4-7. They've won 3 of the last 4 games, but in order for them to get to the 9 wins that you believe will be necessary to get into the playoffs, that means they will have to win 5 out of the next 6. Put that all together in totality. See Detroit being a 7 out of the last 10 victory type of team, because that was really, if you put the 5, 5 wins remaining plus the last 3 out of the 4, that's 8. Do I really think they're going to win 8 out of the last 10 games, 8 out of the last 11 games? No, I believe whatever momentum that they're getting right now will be a great springboard for next season. It'll allow them to really be able to evaluate the talent that they have and put the requisite pieces together to actually go for it next season. So the answer to your question is not really.
All right, fair enough. I could see it. I would love Detroit to get in there, but yeah, it does seem like a long shot. My prediction is that the Giants are going to limp in and be the last seed in, and Washington's going to be out. That's my prediction.
I could see Washington being on the outside looking in, but that's why this upcoming Sunday's game against the New York Football Giants is so big.
All right, I got you. All right, we're going to move on to the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game will be the 8-3 Buffalo Bills going to New England to face the 6-5 Patriots. Buffalo is a 4-point favorite. The over-under is 43.5. So the expected score by Vegas is Buffalo will score 23.75 points and New England will have 19.75 points. The Patriots also play Buffalo again in Week 17. Buffalo is hurting on defense on defense with Von Miller being out because of a knee injury. And also they have an offensive lineman, Dion Dawkins, who is day-to-day because of his ankle. Meanwhile, the Patriots, Damon Harris is likely out due to a thigh injury. Jacoby Myers is questionable because of shoulder injury. What's interesting about that was he got hurt in last game. He came back into the game, so you would think that he's going to play. But from the reports I saw, he didn't really look comfortable playing last week either. So I don't know. That seems like it's up in the air. Buffalo is 2-2 in their last 4. Obviously, they barely beat Detroit on Thanksgiving. New England is 3-1 in their last 4. I have a special note about that. But first, Donnie, what do you think of this game?
All right. Full disclosure, I'm biased when it comes to the game. I'm pulling 100% for the Bills Mafia, the Buffalo Bills. Of course, that leads into my dislike for the evil empire in which the New England Patriots need to die. Buffalo has not looked good the last 4 games, and I'm quite sure that directly correlates from when Josh Allen's elbow became a problem. A lot of the routine throws he's off, and he's very inaccurate, but that's because of the elbow problem. New England's defense, and I say it week in and week out, they're very stout defense. They're very disciplined defense. I'm going Buffalo, like I said, because of my bias, but also because I believe Buffalo is still a better team. So that's the short story of it. Buffalo all the way. Go Bills Mafia. West Side.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all the Mafia stuff, and I don't care about the fans at all. But I will say that Buffalo is just the better team. I think Belichick has the Patriots playing as well as he can get them to play, and they grind out wins and they keep games pretty close. So that 4-point spread does seem a little bit tough, Patriots at home. If I was going to play anything, I think I would play the over though, because even though Buffalo hasn't been as effective, they still scoring points. And that one note that I was going to tell you was that this season, the Patriots are 0-4 when they allow more than 20 points. Buffalo, I don't think you're going to keep them under 20. So I think Buffalo will win. I think that the 43.5 seems very low to me. I don't really like the spread. I like the win and the over. That's what I'm going with.
There's something that just popped in my mind, and I really didn't realize it. Only one of these teams are coming in on a short week. Buffalo played last Thursday, Thanksgiving. New England coming in on a short week. Even though they're at home and Buffalo has been displaced because of the blizzard or whatever, rest is rest still. And with the talent weighing in Buffalo's side, plus the extra rest, against my better judgment, I would lean to over. Based on the team that has the most potential for offensive output would be Buffalo, and Buffalo's well rested. So, that goes against my philosophy of how usually the Thursday night games are usually lean on the under because of the lack of rest. But Buffalo is coming in on full rest.
All right. You just convinced me to go with the 4 points and over. So that's what I'm riding with this week. All right. Let's move on to the Sunday games. Last week, again, was a fiasco as far as Survivor goes when all the favorites basically won. Only a couple of questionable games. Tampa lost, and I think about 1% of ownership was on that. And then I don't even remember what the other games were, but they were all less than 1%. It equaled out to about 3% of teams getting eliminated last week. We need a couple upsets here. Not upsets of teams that I pick, of course, but we need some upsets to get some people out of here. The first game is going to be the Cleveland Browns going to Houston to play the Texans. Cleveland is 7-point favorites, and this is the return of Deshaun Watson. What do you see here, Donnie?
Talk about some extra motivation. But I don't know for which side. And I still kind of really feel icky, like even saying, oh, Deshaun Watson's back. Yeah, this is a perfect opportunity for me to put money on the team, or I'm going to pick him for fantasy. Matter of fact, I'll leave that alone. But I just don't feel right. So as much as I've loved Lovie Smith's job and just galvanizing the troops over the season, I think there was cracks in the armor this past week. I believe there was a report that in the press conference, Lovie Smith was very adversarial with a lot of the media members, and usually that's not what you expect from Lovie Smith. He's very even-keeled, but we might be getting to the part that they're pretty much packing it in for the season. So, yeah, I would go Cleveland survivor pick, and just for the revenge factor, if you're going on a spread, I would say Cleveland going to cover.
Cleveland's looking better these last couple of weeks to me. They seem like they figured something out. They get Deshaun Watson back. At first, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'm definitely going Cleveland. Matter of fact, it might be one of my picks. I'm completely off the board. I'm not messing with this game. And it's because of Deshaun Watson. He's by far the superior quarterback between him and Brissett, but he hasn't played all season. I don't know what he's going to look like coming back. I assume he's going to look good, but I can't say that for sure. It's really interesting that he has to play his first game back in Houston. I think that might be a problem.
They scheduled that on purpose. You know that. 11 games.
Wait. All right. They scheduled the season before the suspension. Now, if you want to say they did the suspension on purpose to make that the first game back, I believe you there.
Well, same difference.
All right. But I know we're not getting into it, but it is a point of reference. Some of the accusers of Deshaun Watson are saying they're going to attend the game. It should be a non-factor of who's in the crowd. But this whole situation is really weird, and like you said, kind of icky. So my logic says that there might be something that goes on fishy here just because of the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco. And it's icky, so I don't want to deal with it. But I got to say, Houston is 30th in points in the league. They're not going to score much. Kyle Allen took over as starting quarterback last week. Didn't really look good. Got some garbage yardage at the end of the game. Once they were blown out right off the bat. Cleveland should win. I'm not riding with it. That's all. That's what it comes down to. All right, next game up, the Denver Broncos. They are 3-8. They're going to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Ravens are 8.5-point favorites. Donnie, is there any chance that Denver wins this game?
Yeah, there's always a chance when you're going against the Ravens defense. The Ravens have given up, I believe, and hopefully I'm not mistaken, but I believe they've given up 4 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter this season. There was a sign of trouble, and people thought everybody was overreacting when they struggled against Carolina the week before and beat them 13-3. They're not clicking on all cylinders. And it's a combination of Lamar Jackson just doesn't have elite receivers, and their defense has taken 2 steps back since they had Wink Martindale as their coordinator for the past couple seasons. So is there a chance? Yeah. Do I believe that Denver's going to get out of their way long enough to actually win? This would be a perfect time to give one of those upsets, but I just can't. I can't put anything on Russell Wilson. Yeah. Long story short, Baltimore. Baltimore's my pick.
Right. Yeah. There's on teams that have Baltimore available. I'm just picking them because, as you pointed out, the comeback wins that the Baltimore has been blowing. Denver's not doing it. I cannot. There's no way in the world I see Russell Wilson pulling that off this season. Like you said, Baltimore has been playing close games though, so that makes it a little bit fuzzy. But Denver's only scored over 16 points twice this season. One time was 17, and their high score was 23 in a loss to the Raiders. Baltimore just needs to score 20 points. They may or may not do it, but I could see them winning 17-6. So I'm definitely with Baltimore. Actually, I would not touch the spread though.
No, at all. Yeah, I wouldn't touch the spread because the spread is way too high.
No, it's just not. It's not feasible to me. It's not sensible to take. All right, on to the next game.
Recognize his face, acknowledging greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
If I get this up, what I do with the stress, without an outlet to vent, proclaim I'm the best in the world. And what the fuck you remember the rest? I gotta keep all the shit pent up in my chest. I guess that's probably where I keep it. Spare the whole world, no longer teaching, no longer reaching for perceived perfection. Need more consistency for prolonged erections. I finally found direction, discover what I'm best at. Shooting at every perceived light, yeah, clap back or clap first, foot on the pedal, grease the bass. I'ma exit now, I'm the recognized this place, recognize this face, acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless. Recognize this face, acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
Recognize this face, acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
We got the Seattle Seahawks. They are 6-5. They are 8-point favorites against the 3-8 LA Rams. I know before I pass on to you, I just want to say real quickly, the Rams, they're out their starting quarterback. They're out their number 1 wide receiver. They're out their number 2 wide receiver. Any chance the Seahawks blow this game? They are on the road.
Only due to Pete Carroll will I say that they will not blow this game. Because this would be a game that a team such as Seattle, which is actually one of the younger teams in the league, I believe, because they're actually in a reloading process. They're not rebuilding; they're reloading. But this would be one of those games that they would have a tendency to look past. But coming off riding a 2-game losing streak, not having destiny in their own hands anymore when it concerning their postseason chances. I believe Pete Carroll will be able to galvanize and the troops and let them know, look, we still have work in front of us. Do not let this downtrodden team prevent us from achieving our goal. So I will go Seattle in spite of Geno Smith.
Yeah, for me, what it is that well, first of all, it's funny that you're completely off the Geno Smith train. But but to me, what it comes down to is that you have no Cooper Kupp, and now you have Bryce Perkins as your starting quarterback, and it looked like McVay is scared to use him as far as throwing. And I didn't understand why when I saw him make a good drive against Kansas City. And in the next drive, I was like, oh, okay, that's why you don't run him throwing it. So the Seahawks, they haven't been playing great. Obviously, they lost the last two, but they had won 4 in a row prior to that. I think this is a get right moment. Even in fantasy, I mean, even in Survivor, even though I hate taking road teams and I hate taking teams that are barely over 500 on the road, this seems like a give me. This seems like a layup to me. I think I might go with the Seahawks this week. As we get later into the season, as far as Survivor goes, it gets a little bit tougher because you can't just take the elite teams anymore. This seems like the right time to take the Seahawks, so I might just do it. All right, now last game for the show. We have the Indianapolis Colts going to Dallas. The Indianapolis Colts are 4-7. Dallas Cowboys are 8-3. The Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites. Again, Donnie, do I have a question for you? Any way they lose this? Any way the Cowboys do not get a win here?
Oh, yes, plenty of ways. Shoot. Dak, and Dak. Listen, they won last week on the Thursday night, the Thursday marquee game on Thanksgiving, right? They beat the Giants, 28-20? And people would say, well, the score wasn't that close because the Giants scored like a garbage time touchdown. But in reality, to me, the game was closer than the score indicates because if Daniel Jones could just throw an accurate ball to the running back in the flat, there's so many drives that would have been continued. That key 4th down conversion, but the lack of that 4th down conversion because he was inaccurate with the pass to Saquon Barkley, that threw 2 interceptions. The Cowboys are a front running team, meaning if they're able to get the lead and they're able to run downhill utilize their running game and run downhill with Zeke and with Pollard, and when the defense is able to pin their ears back and rush the passer when they got the lead, they're a great team. When they hit adversity, that's when they start to shrivel up. That's when they start to get tight. That's when Dak starts to get tight. So, yeah, that's a possibility. If Indianapolis didn't look so inept this past Monday, I really would be tempted to say, yo, I'll go with Indy for my hidden gems pick. But no, I think Dallas will win the game. But that spread is just screaming, Donnie, pick against me. And damn sure Donnie's going to pick against that spread. So I guess my pick would be for the Survivor, Dallas, but against the spread, Indy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you wholeheartedly. The same thing. That spread looks a little bit too big for me, but I don't think that Indianapolis is capable of winning. I will say that the Steelers look better, so I don't necessarily I don't hate that they lost to them. It's not like they lost to the Steelers that have been playing a couple weeks ago, but still, I think the Cowboys are too good for them. All right, real quick, we said Seattle, Cowboys, Ravens. If you were going to pick one of them for Survivor, which one would you pick?
Dallas. Yeah, because see, you would think Seattle because of all the injuries you just explained on the Rams side, but like I said, I think the gimme pick, surprisingly, after I just kind of just threw a lot of doubt in it, the gimme pick would be Dallas.
All right, fair enough. Real quick, do you have any other game that you're looking at this week?
Not in. You know, I guess the which guard the Dallas. No, not the Dallas. The Giants Washington game. I kind of want to play the averages, so I guess I would have. I would say, since the Giants are coming in on a 2-game losing streak and Washington is running high, I would be tempted to pick Giants as my survivor pick for that game. Now the spread, I probably would stay away from the spread. Actually, no. What's the spread of that game? I'm sorry.
Washington is 2.5-point favorites in New York.
Oh, I guess Giants both ways. Giants win. Giants with the against the spread. I don't believe it's going to be a blowout game. So it's going to be nip and tuck, and the Giants, I believe, really realized they needed more. So that's what leading toward me.
All right. Well, all right. I gotta just go against you on one point that you said there. Mm-hmm. Washington and the Giants needed the same.
You would think that, like from the outside looking in, you'd think that, but it's just narratives. The Giants started at 7-2. You're looking at the rest of the schedule. They already lost 2 games in a row. You're going against a division rival, and everything seems like it's falling apart. But on the other hand, Washington is won, I believe, 6 out of the last 7 games. They're on the upswing, and even if they took the loss, I could see them bouncing back more than the Giants bouncing back off this loss, because it would be continuing to swirl down the drain. That's my thinking. That's why I say I believe the Giants need to win more.
Okay. I still disagree, but fair enough. I got you. Real quick, my friend. We literally have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Send us on our way. What you got to promote?
Okay. Check out the Salty Dosey Donnie Oooh podcast, available every Wednesday. Spotify, Apple, Anchor.fm. Check out the YouTube page of Mike Steph, where pretty much there's videos you can check out. And of course, as always, please check out my EP, the Elders EP, with me and Jay Furman on Bandcamp now, especially this holiday season. Put that in your stocking.
Yep, I think you got everything. I got Hidden Gems. Just look up Hidden Gem stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Look for the down below. You can find out all our information. Also, down below, you have the Gimmick Infringement Week in Review with Donnie Oooh. Might as well check that out. And this way. You could actually find Donnie Ooh's channel if you click on the side. But, watch all the 19 Media Group stuff first, and then you can go over there and check him out too. All right, sign us off. We are out of here.
Okay. Hidden Gems Football. This week was a very, very trying episode.
Goodbye. And Donnie does have pants on, even though it doesn't look like it.
This is a 19 Media Group presentation.
My ass knees.
Then getting rid of I just need to get rid of New England. I need to get rid of New England. Can't stand New England.
What happened? Were you going to say something crazy about Belichick and then you realized you were being recorded?
I saw something flash up and I thought it was my Wi-Fi about to go out again.
Technical difficulties.